SAIP, ng TESDA, lahat po ng programa from the national government, Madam Chair. Tapos ang pangalawa ko pa pong question, regarding po doon sa mga satellite offices, meron pong 10 plus 2 extension office. Madam Chair, samantalang we have 18 regions. So paano po pinili? Parang meron tayong pinapaboran pagdating po dito.
Yun. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Trixie Cruz Angeles. Ito ang Luminous. At of course, hot topic sa araw na ito ay ang pahayag ni Vice President Inday Sara at yung kanyang no-show sa House of Representatives sa kanilang hearing sa Committee on Appropriations. As a matter of strategy, the person who grabs the narrative wins. Ganun po talaga pagka political communications. Bakit natin sinasabing political communications? Because all politics in the Philippines, at the very least, is always looking towards the next elections. So, who gets elected first? Who becomes the next president? Who are the next senators, and so on? Who holds power? So, how do you get there? Elections, getting elected it's always a communications game. Now, you be able to play your communications game well, mas maraming boboto sa'yo. So, and well, basically, we all know this. Pero tingnan natin kung sino ang nakauna dun sa naratiba. Bakit? Sino ang nagwawine? The clue here is who was whining at the end of the day. The hearing was set for 9 o'clock kaninang umaga at obviously, hindi dumating si VP Inday Sara at saka ang kanyang mga staff sa OVP. Nagpadala po sila ng liham na nagsasabing hindi na po nila i-defend ang kanilang budget, hindi na po i-defend ni VP Inday ang budget ng Office of the Vice President, and they are submitting it for the consideration of the Committee on Appropriations. At hindi na po sila darating. Pero at 9 o'clock also this morning, may mga naglitawan nga ng mga videos. Well, a video, part 2 dun sa panayam or pahayag ni Vice President Inday, talking about why she appeared and simply submitted for consideration to the Committee on Appropriations the budget of the Vice President, also explaining by the second half why she did no longer wanted or no longer was going to go to the committee hearing. So para saan ba ang mga hearings dito sa budget? Ito ay pagkakataon, defend nga Yun ang sinasabi, dinidefend ng mga kalihim o dinidefend ng mga pinuno ng mga ahensya ang hinihingi nilang pera sa Kongreso. Ang Kongreso, ayon sa saligang batas, ang tagahawak ng pondo ng bayan. Pero may restriction ang saligang batas tungkol dito sa pag-allocate ng budget. Dahil bago mag-umpisa ang lahat, gumagawa muna ng tinatawag ng National Expenditure Program ang ehekutibo. Siyempre, sila yung gagawa kasi ililista nila ang kanilang pangangailangan. At kung ano ang mga taking into consideration yung activities at kung ano ang puntirya o ano yung mga prioridad o vision para sa administrasyon at para sa darating na taon. Kasama din dyan kung ano ang primary concerns such as but not limited to. May health concerns ba? Mayroon bang hinaharap na krisis? Mayroon bang isa-celebrate? So on. Lahat po yan ay considerations na ipinapasok sa budget. Ang mga basic niyan, MOOE. Ito po ay mga sweldo, mga regular na gastusin that you get either buwan-buwan o taon-taon. Halimbawa, andyan na yung mga bond paper, ball pen, printers, printer ink. Mga sweldo, mga panlinis ng opisina, yung panggasolina, pang-ayos ng mga office equipment, and so on. Regular or semi-regular purchases. Kapag mas mababa po kasi dati po yung amount is 300,000, ewan ko kung tinaasan na po nila. Within a certain amount, below a certain amount, hindi po yan binibid, ito po ay kina-canvas. Titignan ninyo kung ano po ang mga mura ayon dun sa quality ng bagay na pangangailangan ng opisina. Pagka hindi regular na procurement, halimbawa, kailangan mo ng procurement ng equipment na minsan-minsan mo lang bibilhin. Nung ako po ay nag-defend ng budget ng Office of the Press Secretary, humingi po ako. Wala na talagang maipagkakasya dahil kukunti lang ang pera. So, ang nahingi ko lang na purchase for the year ay mga sasakyan para sa mga reporters ng PNA. Beyond that, it was the regular budget at saka certain amounts for expected activities for the year. Halimbawa, hindi ko naman alam na masasama pala ako sa mga foreign trips. For the next year, isinama na po yung budget in anticipation of further activities or obligations such as those. Exciting kanina sa Kongreso, dun sa punto kung saan nagpa-participate or nagsasalita si Congressman Marcoleta. Dahil bukod tangi siya, well, meron siyang namang mga kasama doon na parang may support rin naman na nagdepensa sa office of the so nagdepensa kay Vice President at ang kanyang budget para sa kanyang opisina. Napansin niya na ang mga katanungan kay Vice President ay labag doon sa tinatawag ni Kong na time-honored tradition na hindi na kini-question ang budget ng President and the Vice President. That's interesting, no? Kasi tradition, totoo yan. Ang Kongreso po ay may mga time-honored traditions na hindi naman nila isinusulat, hindi nila ginagawang rules, ngunit inoobserbahan. Halimbawa, yung interparliamentary courtesy, yung pagrerespeto sa mga kasama nila sa Kamara at mga kasamahan sa ibang Kamara. Hindi sila nag-iimbestiga ng isa't isa. I mean, congressmen don't investigate senators and the other way around. Sabi ni Jackie Domingo, bakit po ayaw sumugot ng yes ni Kong Stella Kimbo that they are setting aside tradition? Because it could bite her in the ass later on. Kasi for this particular instance, of course, you wanted to say yes, that sige, we'll set aside tradition now at babakbakan natin ang budget ng Office of the Vice President. Hindi niya masasabi yon kasi baka in some other agency or pag sila na, magkakatanungan din. Halimbawa, time-honored ang tradition na never nila pinapakita ang budget ng Kongreso pero makikita natin ang gastusin nila doon sa National Expenditure Program or doon sa national budget once it is passed. Exciting nga po ang participation ni Kong Marcoleta because not only was he erudite pero nag-iisa siya at very clearly he held them, diba? He held the attention and he ruffled a lot of feathers. Ang nakakatawa niyan is si Kong Marcoleta, very, how do you call this, erudite, very eloquent. Ang mga sumasagot sa kanya, the best word that I can use to describe them was peeved or slightly pikon. Yung iba a little more pikon. Pero you could tell by their expressions na frustrated sila. And I understand that. Frustrated sila because they were expecting to hammer away at the Vice President and she did not present herself as a willing victim for such abuse. Now, why did she consider it abuse? At 9 o'clock ng umaga, ang panayam or ang announcement, ang interview ni Vice President Inday Sara ay lumabas sa social media. And she did not hold back. She named names. In-explain niya, hindi daw siya bratinela. She was not acting up and she refused to participate anymore in the budget proceedings. Nag-submit siya ng budget niya. It is up to Congress to approve or deny. Alam niyo kung bakit? Para sa akin, gusto ng mga kongresista, hindi, tatanungin nila every single item, every single so-and-so, chu-chu-chu. When they could actually look at the post-audit later on. Di ba? Tignan ninyo. kung paano niya ginastos. Actually, mas mas mabigat yun. Pag tinignan nyo, nagkamali ng gastos, pwedeng papasok na yan sa graft and corruption kung tapos na yung mga proceedings sa COA. For me, it was a little exciting and naunahan sila ng Vice President. I mean, it's really difficult na sagutin ang Vice President, lalong-lalo na nasa kalagitnaan sila ng frustration nila, naghahanap sila ng babakbakin during the hearing. In fact, Congressman Benny Abante said, wala tayong kausap eh. Parang ganun, kulang lang sabihin niya, wala naman tayong kausap. What is the point in all of this? At gusto niyang maggalit pa at mag-manifestation ng kanyang galit sa Vice President. But the real story is yung binunyag ni Vice President tungkol sa budget process. Sabi niya in her first interview, at bitin na bitin ako doon, 2 lang tao ang may hawak. 2 lang tao ang may hawak sa budget, sa national budget. And she named names. She named Congressman Saldico and Congressman Martin Romualdez. Bago tayo magpatuloy, magpapasalamat muna ako at maghihikayat na mag-like, share, follow, and subscribe. Okay. Maraming salamat po kay Saiti, kay Emmanuel, kay Jackie Domingo, kay Maton, sino ba to? Jackie Domingo, Ruel Vargas, Chanelas. Sabi ni BB Collections, hindi naman perfect si VP, pero alam natin kung sinong totoong may malasakit sa tao. Pinuntirya ni Vice President Inday Sara kung paano nangyayari in the budget hearings. She explained, noong 2022, may hiningi sila na budget of something like 5 billion. For, if I'm not mistaken, para sa repairs ng mga schoolhouses ito. Thank you, Maton. So, tinanong tuloy ng Kongreso, okay, na-prove nila yung 5 billion, sabi nila, magkano yung sa amin dyan? Sabi ni, VP Inday was clear, wala po. Hindi daw kasi niya alam ang kalakaran nun. So, since na zero ang Kongreso the next year, nung dinidiscuss po nila ang budget for 2024, humingi ng certain amount si VP Inday, 19 billion kung di ako nagkakamali. Pero ang lumabas na budget sa kanya was over, something like, parang may additional to 12 billion or something like that. Okay, sorry, I didn't take note of the numbers. Ma'am Emerlinda, thank you. Kay Alex29, Ma'am Telms, maraming salamat po. At saka kay Shelo G. Teka, hindi ko nga po nakita. Hindi ako umabot dun sa last part. I'm assuming that, wait, tingnan natin kung ano yung vote. Wait lang po just dealing with some pests. 24 billion. So the additional 24 billion. Can tell me, yung 3 to 45 na vote was whether or not to observe tradition. Pero was that the same vote as to whether or not to pass the budget? 43 to 45. And was the budget passed? So wala tayong feedback on whether or not the Vice President's budget was passed kasi last hearing na ito.
To say the least. And misplaced. If you would ask me, that's a misplaced argument to put it that way, because we know that the budget.
Sinuspend uli yung hearing. All right, thank you very much. Ang haba kasi with so much weeping and wailing and gnashing of teeth, all sound and fury signifying nothing. Makes me wax poetic, parang Shakespeare. But we'll deal with the reactions later. So ang sinasabi ni VP Inday is it apparently is yung kalakaran sa na not only that, they become responsible for the additional budget. Hindi po sila ang gumagastos nun. That is kept by the congresspersons and they get to spend it. During the Senate hearing, tinanong siya, and it was a good thing daw, according to the Vice President, na natanong siya teka, itong additional ba na ito, ikaw ba ang humingi nito? Ang DepEd ba ang humingi nito? And she came clean and said, hindi po. Hindi namin hiningi yan. And, kumbaga, ikinarga sa kanilang budget. So, nagmumukha tuloy na ang laki-laki ng budget niya, pero yung iba niyan, yung karamihan dyan pala ay gagamitin ng mga kongresista. What happens after that is, so okay, nag-oppose ang Senado. They whittled it down to the original amount that she was asking. Ano nangyari? Sa BICAM, nasunod pa rin daw ang Kongreso at nailagay yung bloated na budget at yun po ang na-approve. Meaning, she's responsible for that entire amount, pero hindi naman po lahat yun nagagastos ng kanyang ahensya o mga ahensya. Significant yung sinabi niya. Sa BICAM, ang nasusunod ay si Congressman Martin Romualdez at si Congressman Saldico. So sabi niya, what is the point in participating in this moro-moro? Nagba-budget hearing tayo. Dini-defend niya yung kanyang budget. Regardless of what she asks for, regardless of the amount that is given to her, papatungan yun ng Kongreso yung patong kanila and she's responsible for it. The head of agency is responsible for it. Ngayon, bakit controversial? Well, of course, controversial naman talaga si Speaker Martin Romualdez because he is the first cousin of the President. He is the House Speaker, and it is this particular Congress that seems to have set very grand dreams. One, of charter change. Two, of massively giving away public funds in the name of ayuda. Ayuda of all things. This is the first massive money, what do you call that? Giving out of money and aid, etc., to people who actually may not probably need it. And nobody can stop them. And not only that, the money, there's money coming from everywhere. I mean, there's taxpayers' money. There is the money that is allocated for the year. And there's money that's still coming in, money that's still to be collected, otherwise known as the unprogrammed funds. Ito sabi ni Edward Larubis, cash. Yes, the way he said it talaga was so cringy, I think, is the best way to describe it. 19 billion to 24 billion. That's an additional 5 billion where she doesn't know how it's going to be spent, who's going to spend it. Now, it's very similar to yung parang pork barrel. Okay, so mayroong fund na ina-allocate kada kongresista, kada senador. Pero hindi yan napupunta sa kanila. Ito ay proyekto, it will come in the form of projects. Mabibigay yung budget na yon sa ahensya. Ang gagawin ng kongresista, i-identify niya kung ano ang proyekto na gagastosan ng pera na yon. Ang gulang dyan ay, dahil nga ang mamimili ay yung kongresista, yung legislator, it becomes the pet project. At minsan tumatawid yan. Naaalala nyo yung skandalo ni Janet Napoles? Si Janet Napoles ay magtatayo ng NGO, makukonvince yung legislator na, sige, i-identify ninyo itong proyektong ito at ang mag-execute ay itong newly built NGO and magkakaroon ng ghost projects. Doon sa iba naman may tunay na project pero substandard at yung excess ay napupunta sa bulsa. Hindi natin sinasabi na lahat ng mga proyektong bunga ng ganitong klaseng pagbabudget ay nagagamit lang sa wala. Ngunit maliwanag na institutionalized na yung pagtambak ng pera sa isang ahensya pero ang gumagastos ay hindi yung head of agency o hindi yung ahensya ng ehekutibo. Now, a few weeks ago pinag-usapan natin, ang legislature naging masyado ng malawak ang powers. Sipin nyo, nalilimitan nila ang executive. Halimbawa, bukod sa hawak nila ang purse, ang pondo, Meron pang commission on appointments na naglilimita kung sino ang pipiliin ng Pangulo pagdating sa uupo na mga miyembro ng gabinete. Mayroon pang ganito, parang question hour pagdating sa pagkikilatis ng budget. Sinasabi nila, bahagi daw ito ng kanilang obligasyon sa taong bayan for transparency kung saan ilalagay, mapupunta yung pondo. Darling, ang daming transparency efforts or means. Halimbawa, yung pag-publish ng budget, transparency po yun. Halimbawa, yung pag-publish ng mga detalye ng mga proyekto ng bawat ahensya, transparency po yun. Yung transparency na hinihingi dun sa Kongreso ay minsan excuse lang para bugbugin yung ahensya o yung mga kawani ng gobyerno until they give in. O sige na nga po, ilagay nyo na yung budget dyan, kami na po bahala si liquidation. Sabi ni Alejandro, pasok po ba sila sa anti-graft and corrupt practices? Kana naman Papa-analyze. Pwede ba bukas na lang yan? Kasi kaso yan babaklasin natin yung batas tapos ia-apply mo yung mga facts. I-supply mo sa akin yung facts. Para hindi ako nag-guess. Grabe kayo kung magtanong. Parang akong pinagbabar exam nyo uli. Yes, pwedeng vote to terminate the motion. Vote to terminate the motion. Siguro it's a vote to interrupt a motion. Sabi ni Tyler, naalala ninyo, attorney, ang 27 billion na insertion sa DSWD, nakita rin sa Senate. Totoo yan. Thank you kay Chanelas, kay Tyler, kay Chanelas uli. Sabi ni si Haya, Congresswoman Kimbo said they can release the ND notice of disallowance of the confidential funds because it was already done. Is that legal? No, when it was already done, it was illegal. When they do it again, it's still illegal. So you now have to count. After making these revelations, meron pa siya. May part 3 pa po bukas. So maramang yan, bukas ng umaga, mapoposted po natin yung video para dun sa next round ng interview ni VP Inday.